My day yesterday was very productive. I just typed for 3 hours straight. It was amazing.
I stayed until the cafe closed.
I've kind of figured out why I was feeling, I've come to realize that I was getting burnt out from doing. Just from the act of doing so much. And it's not the fact that I need to take a break from streaming. I just need to take a break from being in the shed. That's another reason that I've come to figure out of why I was feeling so bleh. Was because I was stuck in the shed without leaving for so long. You gotta touch that grass. And unfortunately, that just means that, I can't stream if I am not in the shed. Cabin fever. Is that a thing? What does cabin fever mean? Extreme irritability and restlessness from living in an isolation or confined indoor area for a prolonged time. Yes. I think I was just starting to feel that kind of, shed fever. I was experiencing shed fever. Yeah.
Ugh, retreating back to Japan.
I don't know. I mean, Japan doesn't really feel like a retreat anymore. It's just another place that I work. Which is great. But I will say I tend to go out. Well, the last times that I've been to Japan, I do leave, where I'm staying quite often because I just go out and eat or explore. But I feel like if I were to live in Japan, it'd still be the same. I just wouldn't leave my house that much, I don't know. Yeah, so I went to the cafe yesterday. I ran some errands in the morning. So I got to the cafe later than I expected. Right. I think I got there like around midday. But I didn't realize that the cafe closed pretty early. So I stayed there until it closed pretty much. I spent $50. Who spends $50 at a cafe by themselves? Bro. Okay, 50 AUD, that's around like 30 something. Is that 30 something USD? Man, oh man. That's only like 2 things depending on where you go. That is true. It is a really nice cafe. It had a really, really nice view. And it was more like a brunch place. People go there for brunch. So the food was really nice. I wasn't hungry throughout the entire day. I could have survived. I didn't eat dinner. I had soup at night, but that's all I had. So it was very, very filling. It was huge. I got this green bowl. It had kale salad. It had a ginormous piece of roasted pumpkin. It had some other stuff that I didn't really know what it was, but it was some kind of patty thing. The one thing I love doing is getting vegetarian bowls and just adding protein to it. Because that way I can control how much protein. So I also added a poached egg, and I also added chorizo. And also I added halloumi cheese. But because of that, this bowl ended up being $40. Yeah, it was so much food, but it was so good. Was it worth it? Kind of. I feel like that could feed 2 people because they ended up eating 2 meals because there was so much food. So if you divide that by 2, so around 40 by 2, that's $20 each. I would say it's pretty worth it. Yeah. And then I had 2 coffees. I had one when I got there, and then I had to order another obligatory coffee. You know when you stay so long at a cafe, you're obliged to order another one so that you feel you have another reason to stay there? That was me. Was the coffee good? The coffee was good. The blend was a little bit, I think, darker than I'm used to. I normally drink medium, blonde to medium roast, but I think this was the medium to dark roast. I don't really know what beans they were using, but it was a little bit darker than I was used to, but still good. No, I didn't know that. Here in the United States, you just get asked to leave. Really? Wait, they can ask you to leave? The only places that ask you to leave is if they've stated previously that there is a time limit. What? Oh my god. In Australia, it's the right to refuse service, I guess, but there's a time limit for seating. Oh, okay. If there's time limit for seating, then they also ask you to leave in Australia. But yeah, the cafe that I went to, most cafes don't have a timed seating. Yeah, most cafes don't, just because a lot of people work at cafes. in Australia. Well, I feel so anyway. A lot of cafes that I go to, I always see people working, whether it be uni kids or like just work kids. I see like work meetings happening in cafes. So yeah. New customer, new fees. Well, that's the thing. The obligatory coffee is like, you know, it amounts to a new person coming in and buying a coffee. So you kind of, I think that's the trade-off. If you stay, you have to buy more than one drink. You count it by the hour. Yeah. So one coffee equates like around 2 hours. Every 2 hours, you need to buy you need to buy something, whether it be a drink or food or something. Has there been times when someone stayed in your coffee place for the whole shift? Oh. Don't think so. Because when I used to work at Buckstars, the opening and closing hours were extremely long. Because normal cafes, they open like what? Maybe like when do they open? I think the ones where you can sit, like an actual cafe where you can sit in, they open at like 9 to 10 or 11. It's not that early. Around 11 to like 5 or like 10 to 5 or 6. They don't open for that long. But Buckstars, depending on the day, they're open from like 7 a.m. to like 1 a.m. at night. So 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. isn't it in Aussie? I think it depends on the cafe. Yeah. I think it's because Buckstars is technically a fast food chain, so they open really early and they close really, really late. Yeah. Have you tried the secret menu in Japan? Wait. Funny story. Back when I used to work for Buckstars, there was like a moment during the time that I worked that I went to Japan on holiday. And when I went to the Japan Buckstars. I took a picture of the menu. I came back and I told my manager or my supervisor, I was like, look how many cool drinks they have, huh? And look at our menu. Why does ours suck? And Bay was fired the next day. What did the manager say? I don't remember. But, you know, I just thought it was, I don't know. Japan's drinks are so much nicer. Especially the teas. They have a lot more range in their iced teas and stuff. Well, now that when I go to Buckstars in Australia, I do see that they have more teas, iced teas. So maybe I was an indirect influence. They have strawberry black tea now. That wasn't a thing before. Influencer. How? You should put that on your resume. Single-handedly revolutionized the iced tea game of Buckstars. Please hire me. 日本のコーヒーはどうなの？いや、本当のこと言っていい？ですね、僕の意見です。これは日本のコーヒーはね、本当はね、あんまり好きじゃないんです。いや、でもね、理由を聞いて、理由。I only drink soy milk, right? I can't drink normal milk. And the funny thing is Japan actually has a really, 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 really good reputation for having amazing coffee. Like they have coffee Grand Prix and there's so many coffee tasting places. Not even lactose free. But the thing is, Japan doesn't have lactose free. The reason why I don't like drinking coffee, especially from like smaller franchise cafes in Japan, is because it's different to kind of Australia and also America where you can choose to replace milk in a certain drink. So in Australia and in like I'm pretty sure in America and probably in Canada, like more the Western countries, you can kind of replace the milk. So you have all the menu items and then they have like if you want to replace the milk with a soy option, almond option, something option, you just have to pay a little bit extra so you can replace the milk. You can't replace the milk in a lot of franchise coffee stores. They just have a soy latte option. So you can't order a soy cappuccino. They only have a soy latte menu item. So there's no other or there's like an oat milk latte option. Does that make sense? The only places where I've seen that they have kind of the alternative option of you can just swap out the milk was actually a vegan cafe. that I went to. Went to a vegan cafe, and that was hands down the best coffee I have ever had. Like, it was on par of being an amazing coffee. That's why I'm saying Japan has a really good reputation for coffee, but they just need to know how to work with milk alternatives better. Was it with Fortnite? Yeah. We went to a vegan cafe. It was so good. Like, they know how to do that. They know how to steam the milk. It's not the beans that taste bad. The beans itself, the coffee itself, I'm sure tastes amazing. But they just don't know how to steam soy milk. They over steam it and then they like destroy the milk. It's not good. That's why it has foam, but it's not good foam because soy milk kind of burns really easily and it's really easy to over steam it. Yeah, it's not good. But I got a soy flat white from that vegan cafe. Mwah! It was so good. I didn't know steaming soy milk was such a delicate process. Steaming or alternative milks, they're quite delicate because they have less fat content in them, so it's a lot easier to burn them if you compare it to normal cow's milk. So because of the fat content, you have to be really careful when you steam it. I feel like I just took a science class on coffee making. It's harder to froth too. Yeah, it is. It is harder to froth. You know what I want to try? I've heard so many good things about Korean instant coffee. You know the one where, the one that they drink in Vincenzo? The one that, even Vincenzo, the coffee elitist, was like, oh my god, this is so good. The Vincenzo who only drank espressos was like, oh my god, this is so good. The coffee sticks. Yeah. I want to try that.
Sorry, did I say espresso? Espresso, sorry. They're mostly sugar, soka.
Sugar just adds sweet. Coffee is inherently bitter. Here's the thing though, I don't like sweet coffee. I think it tastes bad to me, So I'm really curious to taste that Korean coffee if it is just really sweet. There are a lot of cafes that I want to try, like really, really nice cafes in Japan that I want to try. It's just a little bit sad that I won't be able to try like lattes or cappuccinos unless they have the alternative option. Otherwise, I've come to find I drink a lot of black coffee when I'm in Japan. I drink a lot of espressos. I drink a lot of Americanos, although I don't want to admit that because it's just water, pretty much. But there are so many nice cafes and coffee tasting places and I want to go to. Are you lactose intolerant? No. I'm sensitive. Do you have an opinion on Ethiopian or Arabica? Is it Arabica? Arabica? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. I prefer Guatemala. Guatemala beans. I prefer Guatemala.
The disrespect on Americano coffee.
Look! Okay, it gets the job done. But you have to admit, okay, it's a pretty lazy way of calling that a drink. Just putting ice and water with a shot of coffee? Come on. I feel like that's a little disrespect on coffee itself, okay? It gets the job done though.
It's your guilty pleasure? Yeah, that's a good guilty pleasure.
My coffee splashed. Uh-oh. How do you rate the Japanese vending machines coffee? Oh, they're pretty good. Yeah.
They're very sweet though.
I do quite like, for some reason I can drink those ones. I think because it's not really real milk. I think they use like milk powder or something. I can drink powdered milk. So like fake milk. But I can't drink like milk. Canned coffee's pretty good. The stronger one's pretty good. They're not too sweet. I normally get the one that says Otona no aji. Adult flavor. Because those ones are normally not as sweet.
Isn't milk powder real milk?
I don't know. Milk formula? Who knows? Boss coffee? Boss is pretty good. Yeah. Milk powder is made from real milk. I'm sure it is, but I don't know. I think the fact that it's dehydrated and then it's like re-put into coffee, maybe that's not as, for me, it doesn't affect me as much. I don't know. But I just can't drink like real, like actual milk. I don't know. How do you feel about decaf?
some water. There's no point. If you find yourself ordering a decaf coffee, just go drink some water, bro. Get us some water. I don't know, buy a smoothie. Get some juice. Have you ever had dalgona coffee? I did. I remember when dalgona coffee exploded on the internet. I did make it. I remember exactly when I made it as well. This was at the beginning of 2020. I was making dalgona coffee. Yeah. It's good. Sweet. But good. Yeah.
Dalgona coffee.
It's so gross. Yeah. Some people don't like dalgona coffee. I think it's really sweet. It's all right. I do like the what's that word? Like I love the texture, I guess, of the coffee. Like it does feel like you're drinking something really like light and airy, but it is really sweet.
Is this another avo latte thing? No, dalgona coffee is just, it's like a deconstructed coffee. So pretty much you mix equal parts instant coffee, like instant espresso coffee, with equal parts sugar and equal parts water, and you like froth it until it becomes like kind of like this meringue-ish texture. It's kind of like whipped coffee. Yeah. And then that becomes like a topping, right? And then you just put it over a glass of milk, and then like you're supposed to like mix it together, and it becomes like a really fluffy coffee. It looks very aesthetic, but it's very sweet. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my cafe work day yesterday. Yeah, so I was there and I was working and I was typing away. I typed so much.
I did all the work that I needed to.
And I came back home and I was like, I don't know what to do now. Came back home. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do. So I just started walking around the house aimlessly. I was watching Mama Rat cook dinner and I just kept walking in and out of the kitchen doing nothing.
Are you gonna make it a habit? Not a habit,
but I think if I have days off where I need to work, I might just go out and work instead of staying at home.